1988 was an Olympic year, with competitions taking place in both Calgary and Seoul, South Korea. The year was also an election year, which meant candidates Michael Dukakis and George Bush were crisscrossing the country trying to secure votes. While the election was dominating much of the news, many other events were taking place, including NASA resuming the space shuttle program following the 1986 Challenger disaster. Needless to say, the year 1988 was memorable for more than just the tagline, "Yippee-ki-yay." To begin the year, on January 5th, basketball phenom Pistol Pete Maravich died of a heart attack during a pickup game in Pasadena, California. He was just 40 years old and had flown to California for an interview with evangelical radio host James Dobson, whom he was playing basketball with at the time. Dobson has said that Maravich's last words, less than a minute before he died, were, "I feel great." On February 21st, televangelist Jimmy Swaggart confessed his sins to his congregation and to a television audience watching from home. Swaggart broke down crying, asking forgiveness after he was photographed picking up a New Orleans prostitute and taking her to a dive motel. On March 9th, actress Audrey Hepburn was appointed a UNICEF Special Goodwill Ambassador. Upon her appointment, she stated that she was grateful for the international aid she received after enduring the German occupation as a child, and wanted to show her gratitude to the organization. On March 31st, Toni Morrison won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction for her 1987 novel, Beloved. The book about the haunting of a mother and daughter following their escape from slavery would go on to become a classic in American literature. On April 12th, a day after his ex-wife Cher won an Oscar for the movie Moonstruck, singer and restaurant owner Sonny Bono was elected mayor of Palm Springs, California. The new mayor would serve 4 years and make a salary of $15,000 per year. April 23rd brought us a new federal law that prohibited smoking during domestic airline flights of 2 hours or less. Smokers caught with a lit cigarette on such flights faced a $1,000 fine. On May 16th, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that trash left outside the home could be searched without a warrant. California versus Greenwood was a case in which incriminating evidence was found in the garbage in a drug investigation, and the question was this an illegal search and seizure? On June 1st, the Mort and Downey Jr. show debuted in syndication. The show featured screaming matches between Downey, his guests, and audience members. Downey also chain-smoked during the show and would blow smoke in his guest's face. On June 20th, The Price is Right model Janice Pennington was knocked off the stage by a swinging camera. The incident was never aired, but Pennington had to be rushed to Cedars-Sinai Hospital. She suffered a concussion and a broken clavicle that required surgery. On June 22nd, Back to the Future director Robert Zemeckis released Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The acclaimed animated and live-action film was set in a 1947 version of Hollywood, where cartoon characters and people coexisted. The film followed Eddie Valiant, a private investigator who tries to exonerate Roger Rabbit, who is framed for murder. On July 15th, another blockbuster was released. Die Hard, directed by John McTiernan, starred Bruce Willis as wisecracking New York cop John McClane, who finds himself fighting off terrorists during a Christmas party. The film was a huge box office hit, and it established Willis as a bona fide action star. On July 20th, the Democratic National Convention in Atlanta, Georgia, nominated Michael Dukakis for president, along with Lloyd Bentsen as his running mate. The pair would go on to face George Bush and Dan Quayle on the Republican side in the 1988 presidential election. On August 1st, Rush Limbaugh began his national radio show. His political commentary and analysis attracted a large segment of conservative listeners and eventually made it the highest-rated national radio talk show in America. On August 8th, California rap group NWA released their album Straight Outta Compton. The album was a turning point for hip-hop and introduced gangsta rap to the mainstream. Also on August 8th, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Philadelphia Phillies for their very first night baseball game at Wrigley Field after 74 seasons. 91-year-old Cubs fan Harry Grossman was chosen to turn on the lights. After counting to 3, he flipped the switch and announced, "Let there be light." On September 19th, American diver Greg Louganis struck his head on a diving board during competition at the Seoul Olympics, leading to a concussion. Despite his injury, he would go on to qualify for the finals and win the gold medal the next day. On October 18th, the television show Roseanne premiered on ABC. The show starred Roseanne Barr as an outspoken blue-collar mom trying to make ends meet. The gritty show really connected with audiences and made it one of the most popular on television. On November 3rd, talk show host Rodrigo Rivera got his nose broken as a brawl broke out on his talk show. He was hit in the face by a flying chair when he tried to break up a fight during an interview with young white supremacists and black civil rights activist Roy Innis. On November 8th, George Bush was elected as the 41st President of the United States over Democratic opponent Michael Dukakis. Bush made a pledge to the American people saying, "Read my lips, no new taxes," and won a decisive victory with 426 electoral votes and 53% of the popular vote. To finish out the year, on December 21st, PanAm Flight 103, which was en route from London to New York, was destroyed by a bomb over Lockerbie, Scotland. The terrorist attack killed 270 people, including 190 U.S. citizens. In the debris, investigators found that a bomb had been planted inside a radio within a piece of luggage. 2 Libyan intelligence operatives were indicted for the bombing, and it was suspected the attack was in retaliation for U.S. airstrikes, including a 1988 incident in which the U.S. mistakenly shot down an Iran Air commercial flight over the Persian Gulf.